The final Democratic debate of 2019 was the smallest and least diverse group seen so far. Senator Cory Booker did not qualify, but he still managed to make an appearance during the debate with this ad.
You're only going to see this ad once because I'm not a billionaire. I won't be on tonight's debate stage, but that's okay because I'm going to win this election anyway. This election isn't about who can spend the most or who slings the most mud. It's about the people.
Joining me now, presidential candidate Senator Cory Booker. He joins me from Urbandale, Iowa, where he's campaigning. Senator, thank you so much for being with us. Have you seen the debate? And if so, what did you think?
I didn't watch the debate. I was actually making calls to Iowa voters last night and heard a lot of frustration from folks that there was more talk about wine caves than there were about gun violence or reproductive rights. We really got to be careful as a party about tearing each other down at a time where we see what's going on in Washington, and we need to unite, frankly, bring our party together so we can bring a real fight to beat Donald Trump, push Mitch McConnell back to the back benches. So that's what I'm working on, and I'm so happy that here in Iowa our campaign is really surging.
Well, I will tell you, even though you were not on the stage, voters in our focus group that Gary Tuchman did, they talked about you. I think we have some video. I don't know if you can see it. A few of them said they are going to caucus for you, even showed up with Cory Booker T-shirts. So you are still on the minds of some Iowa voters. And in a moment, which I'm not sure you've seen yet, you were mentioned on the debate stage by one of your competitors, Andrew Yang. I want to play that.
And he wants to.
It's both an honor and disappointment to be the lone candidate of color on the stage tonight. I miss Kamala, I miss Cory, though I think Cory will be back. Question is, why am I the lone candidate of color on this stage? Fewer than 5% of Americans donate to political campaigns. You know what you need to donate to political campaigns? Disposable income.
Now, that's his take. I wonder what your take is on this. Why was Andrew Yang the only candidate of color on that stage last night?
Well, it's frustrating. We had our best debate in the last one of the debates. Your focus group, again, overwhelmingly chose me after that as the best performance. And we saw a surge in online donations, but there were very few polls between that debate and this one. We've now, since they closed the debate stage, we've now seen ourselves. This is why Andrew's saying I'll be back, because we're popping in the polls. Our numbers are rising. And so it's frustrating. So, you see in Iowa here, wall to wall, Steyer and Bloomberg ads. But I'm not a billionaire. So look, we're going to continue to ask people to go to CoryBooker.com and support this campaign in Iowa. We are now up to number 3, according to one of the recent polls, in net favorability. We're popular in a state where most people haven't made up their mind yet. Local media calls us one of the best top organizing teams on the ground. We're going to do like every single president from our party in my lifetime did, who are polling in the low single digits: Carter, Bill Clinton, even Barack Obama right now is 15, 20 points behind Hillary Clinton. We're going to surge around caucus time, and we're going to win here in Iowa, especially with folks' help.
I wonder what role you think that race is playing in it, though. And one of the reasons I ask is because Jason Johnson, a political commentator over on another cable network, he says the reason you don't have more black people on stage is because you have a lot of white voters who don't think a black person can get elected against Donald Trump. That's a fact. Why be afraid of saying something so common, something so reasonable to any political scientist or pollster who's out there? Your view.
Well, let's be clear. I mean, this is something we got to know. The last time we won the White House, not just won the White House, but an overwhelming wave election that swept Democrats into power in Congress, was when we had an African-American president that caused us to have the highest levels of African-American turnout we've ever had. If the turnout in 2016 amongst black voters alone was the same as it was in 2012, it would be President Hillary Clinton. That would have been enough to get her over. Whoever our nominee is, and this is why I'm running so hard, they have to be the one that resurrects that Obama coalition. And black and brown voters are so essential, not just to winning the White House, but to winning in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, to getting rid of Mitch McConnell. I've shown in New Jersey, winning in a very diverse state, but again, where blacks are a small minority, that I can get record black and brown turnouts, as well as inspire suburban voters and other key members of our demographic. I've got the best electability argument of anybody in this field because I know I can resurrect the coalitions we need to win big in November.
A brand new CNN poll out this morning. We asked voters about the economy. 76% of voters that we talked to said that the economic conditions in the country today are good. That is as high of a number as we have seen in years. Last night, this was talked about on the stage. And one of the things we heard from the candidates is, oh, well, the middle class isn't feeling it. But when 76% of people polled say the economy is good, that's got to include a slice of the middle class. That's not just the 1% responding there. So how do you make the case that you need to get the president out on the basis of the economy?
Well, I mean, it's simple. Right now, all Americans know that we're doing nothing on healthcare costs, prescription drug costs. We know that we have a tax system that's way weighted in the hands of the wealthiest amongst us and not creating a fair tax system. Most Americans know that the crisis of everything from college to childcare are running out of control. So what I hear from town hall after town hall here in Iowa and around this country is that the economy is overall good, but they're not measuring their well-being based upon GDP or the stock market. They're measuring it on how it's harder. And let me give you one little data point that I find fascinating, that baby boomers at this point, when they were in their 30s, controlled about 20 to 30% of the wealth of the country. Millennials right now, it's about 3%. It is getting harder and harder for the next generations in our country to have strong senses of economic well-being, and I'm going to change that as President of the United States, create a fairer playing field where we all have pathways to prosperity.
So you, Senator, have to juggle an awful lot right now. You're running for president. I'm sure you've got your last-minute Christmas shopping to do. And there's a matter of a Senate trial to remove the President of the United States. I had Minority Leader, the Democratic leader, Chuck Schumer, on the show on Monday. I said, to what extent are you going to try to protect those senators who are running for president as you negotiate and plan for the Senate trial? And he told me, not at all. He said it's not a priority for him. It's just tough. Senators like you and Amy Klobuchar, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, you're just going to have to be part of the trial. What impact will that have on your campaign?
Yeah, well, don't forget Michael Bennet, too. And I'll tell you this, Schumer's right. He should not be giving any consideration to this. I know I'll be in my chair, in my seat in the Senate, doing my job. I swore an oath to do it. Trump may violate his oaths, but I won't violate mine. And voters are sophisticated enough to understand that. I know that here in the state of Iowa, as well as other places going into the primaries, we've built an incredible grassroots team. We're one of the leading candidates in endorsements from local officials. I know we have what it takes to win despite it, but all of us right now, in this very sad time for our country, we have got to deal with what I think is a level of moral vandalism in the White House we have never seen. And I actually think that he has done things that were deserving of being impeached, and we're going to have a trial, and I will be there as an objective juror reviewing the facts.
Senator Cory Booker, I know one thing about Iowa in December. It's pretty clear you should be wearing a jacket. But thank you very much for being with us today. Wish you the best of holidays, sir.
Well, thank you. I hope folks will go to CoryBooker.com. We can afford a bus, but maybe I'll be able to get a jacket as well. No, that's just a joke. But thank you for having me on. Wishing you all the best.
You too. And a hat, Senator. He does this.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
I have chastised him before that he's outside in New Hampshire without a coat. Okay, so we'll see if he changes that. Meanwhile, the president leans on the strength of the economy, of course, as